seems a man of many skills. A rare combination.
Hello everyone, welcome to the Let's Ride. Today we have Mariam Mohamed. She is a children's books author and also a teacher, elementary school teacher. Thank you for joining us today.
Thank you for having me.
Really excited.
Yeah.
On Let's Ride.
Yes, this is so exciting.
You have written books, I know that.
Yes.
Before we get on that, let's talk about you. You know, what inspired you? Where did you get the right foundation to be able to do what you do right now?
With writing?
Yes.
Yes. Okay, so originally I always knew I wanted to be a writer because I feel like sometimes you can't fake passion.
Right.
It just either comes naturally or it comes naturally. That's your only really your option. And I started getting into writing when I was younger, mostly because I would notice in the school libraries that I went to back in Texas, they didn't have too many books with people of color in them, the children's books. A lot of the characters were white, mostly male, or like animals. So I wanted to change that a little bit and have characters who shared my experience.
And this is way back now, even
way
before.
back.
Yeah, so that your inspiration began way back. You
Fourth
saw
grade.
then, yes, you saw there was a need.
A strong
There was
need.
a lack of representation
Absolutely.
in literature for people of color and immigrants and refugees.
Yes.
People that look like you.
Yeah.
That dress like you.
That just have the same background, and representation really matters. Because a lot of time, if the narrative is one-sided in one way, and you always hear about, the experience of the majority group, then you start thinking, maybe I don't matter. As a child, thinking back to what a child would think, maybe their story is more important than my story. And that gets into your confidence, and it plays into a lot of other things too.
Can I say that led to also, is that part of your inspiration to be a teacher, or is that different from wanting to write a book or being a teacher? Is it the same passion, the same inspiration, come from the same place?
That's a good question. I would say writing is my first love.
Yes.
That's like my passion. And then naturally, I feel like I just fell into teaching after that.
It came naturally.
It just came naturally,
Right.
yeah. I decided that's what I wanted to pursue. I would always be like teaching my younger siblings. I'm also one of the older ones in my family. We're one of 6. And my older brother did a lot of work. Like, he would work. My second brother would also work a lot. So I would be educating my younger brothers and sisters and helping him out how to read. Because my mom also worked several jobs. Yeah.
And apart from that, we're going to get to, let's talk about books, right?
Okay.
You have written how many books now?
2.
There's one, Ayayo Golden Rule.
Yes.
So where is that? I mean, I read a little bit of that.
Yeah.
And I wanted to ask you, tell us about that. What first book, and then we're gonna go to the second one. But the first book now, the inspiration again. I know a little bit about that.
Yeah.
But I want people to know from
A.
Yes.
All right. Aya's Golden Rule. That whole thought just came into my head about writing about a storyline like that because of working in a school. It's based on a true story, actually. I had a student who was brand new to the country, and they had a program, newcomers program, where all the students who didn't know any English would go into that room and they would catch them up. It would be like a 8th grader sometimes who didn't know how to read or write or ABCs even, because they didn't have prior school background. But anyways, I was teaching 4th grade, and I had a student come to me, and she was being targeted and bullied a lot, and the kids would call her FOB, which means fresh out of the boat, and they pick on each other that way. How she dresses, just everything about her. So it was interesting to see how she was very calm about it. She didn't fight, and she instead tried to make friends, and if it didn't work, she would separate herself. So it was beautiful to see how kind and humble she was, which is why in Aya's Golden Rule, I kept going back and saying, be humble and kind. It'll get you far. Be the better person. Be the bigger person sometimes. So that kind of inspired it. And then I got into writing, and I have a very close relationship with my grandma. So I put the two and two together. I'm like, what if her grandma advised her, because grandmas are like, they have a lot of wisdom.
Oh, yeah,
a lot of wisdom.
They lived so long that they have seen everything.
Yes,
basically, so they know.
Absolutely.
Yes.
And I have a very special relationship with my grandma. So I just put it together. It's a fictional story, but it's based off of a true story at the same time.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
That's amazing. I mean, Ayeyo, for those people that know, it means grandmother.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
And Ayeyo, like for culturally, as a community, we place elders in a higher regards, higher,
Yes.
way up.
Yep.
So even there's no idea for them, the idea of retirement or them going to a group home, it never happens. It
what's
never
that?
crosses our mind.
Yeah.
It's more like, okay, they always have a bigger role in a family. They always have a bigger role. Am I correct in that?
The grandma, for sure, they connect the family. They put the family together. They are just like the head bosses in the family.
Yes.
So
kids, man, the grandkids love their grandmother, man. There's this special connection. So with the book, Ayeyo Golden Rule, you are able to get it out, and just a little bit of so the story is basically. The background of the story is being humble and
kind, and when you come to also a new country, don't assimilate and don't think you have to fit in order to make friends, because unfortunately that's a route many take. That's a route I almost took,
and people get confused because they come from a place where there is a certain way that they used to live, and then they come to this country, is a new way, and now they have to adjust. They have to, and they get confused. They don't know where do I belong.
It's
honest. You get bullied.
Yeah, it's honestly hard when you think about it. The pressure that's put on the child as well, coming to a new country. No child doesn't want to be lonely. Like, they want to have friends. So it's like, but are you going to lose yourself in the process? So I want to educate our kids at this age, especially through Ayeyo's Golden Rule. Don't change. You can find ways. You can find people who will accept you for who you are.
You have an identity.
Yes.
Keep it.
Don't lose your identity.
Right.
Don't lose your language. Don't lose your culture. Yeah, it's very important.
Which will come to that cultural part, which is very important. So Ayeyo, so the second book now you've written, again, can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yes.
And the story behind it, the inspiration behind it.
So all of my books honestly have to come from, in a way, a true story or something I've experienced. I don't like to talk about things I don't know about. And being a teacher, you see a lot. And you can really, really, really share these stories, but at the same time, be very careful, because you are talking about children. So with What I Wish You Knew About My Cousin Ali, it tackles the taboo topic I like to talk about, of autism. I realized working at daycares, working at school settings, my own life and my experiences within my own circles, how autism is almost ashamed of. Like, a lot of people...
There's fear.
Yeah, there's fear. There's stigma. Yeah.
Stigma.
Yes.
There's cultural stigma.
Yes.
Go ahead.
Yeah, no, absolutely. That's the word I was looking for. There's fear. And... I want to change that. I want to change that, starting all community. And it's not just the Somali community. It's all communities, I realized. Because I've had chats with several other individuals from all walks of life. And there's stigma behind it. But the time where I got the wake-up call was when I was working at a daycare. And a child who was on the higher end, spectrum, on the spectrum of autism, was having a... not a panic attack, but he was having an episode in a way. He was freaking out because something triggered him. I think it was the noise of the TV or something, and he was just really distraught. And while we were trying to calm him down, his mother rushed to the room. She looked at him. She said, he needs Quran Sar.
Yes. And that's a very, very powerful thing. I mean, it's to seeing that, and go ahead.
And she knew his condition. And she said he needs Quran Sar. He's acting anything she could say under the book, and then she rushed with him, and we haven't seen him since. He never came back. And I just remember the embarrassment on her face of everyone looking at her. I understand.
They're all thinking something is wrong with her son.
Yes.
And then they're all thinking superstitiously something
must be wrong with her in a way, or
and then there was some magic that was used against her.
Yes,
sihr,
magic,
jealousy, black magic,
yes,
all these things.
Yeah,
they come into play, and it's really hurtful,
and
it's confusing, and it's
and actually, it's not the first time I've heard of this. A lot of time, people justify some mental illnesses. Like autism and like Asperger's or Down's, all of that. It's like, it's sihr, it's all that. But I'm like, okay, don't get me wrong. As a woman of faith, Quran is very powerful, but we can't also avoid medicine. The sooner you get resources, the sooner you get help for your child, the medical needs, the better actually it is. They can accomplish a lot of things. Students, not just students, I always say students because I'm a teacher. Children with disabilities can really go far in life. This shouldn't be a death sentence.
There's help.
Yeah, there's especially
so many helps.
Here.
There's a lot of training.
Yes, yes, especially here. We should take advantage of that, basically. So through this book, I wrote about a child named Ali, and how he has a cousin named Sumaya, and how Ali is looked at differently, and Sumaya decides to get educated from her aunt Fahima, and she tells her, yes, my son has autism, your cousin has autism, but that doesn't mean anything. His brain is just wired differently. He's great at some things. I don't even like to say disability a lot. I say different abilities, because he has different abilities and areas where he excels in, and different abilities where he's kind of like struggling and needs more help.
Needs the necessary structure and support to be there, from family to wherever that surrounds him. He can be successful. Yes, and he can live a good life.
Absolutely. And she. Yeah. So I wanted to. So basically, Ali has autism, and his aunt is telling Sumaya. So Sumaya runs with that, and she tells her peers, in order to get him some respect from his peers and educate them on this is what autism is. He's not different. We're all different, first of all. We're all different. We're not the same. Yes. And how you can be a better friend to him. When he does this...
Be a friend. Don't look for friends.
Yeah, I like that.
It's really powerful. Like, you know what I mean? It's so powerful. So I'm glad that you said that. Because there's a lot of people in our community that really have a totally misunderstood. They are not very well educated. There is no outreach that really tells them about when their child's have autism, and they're always trying to find
an excuse. Because and honestly, I get it at some point. I understand, because we, like you said, it all comes down to education. We don't know what to do, so we hide. They're doing this to protect their child. Right. To give them a reason, a way out, an excuse. But you don't need to hide. You don't need to be ashamed. Right. There's so many. If anything, by you speaking out, you're helping someone else who is embarrassed come out and be like, yeah, there's nothing wrong with my child. I'm proud of my child. No matter
what. Books, Your Golden Rule, and
whatever she knew about my cousin Ali.
And I will share that, so you can go on. Is it on Amazon?
It is. It's on Amazon, and it's on mariammohamed.com.
Good. We'll share that. So now we go to the other component, the teacher part.
Oh yeah, that's my favorite.
Right. So let's talk about two things. Number one, and I'm just break it down. One is COVID and teaching.
Goodness.
How's that been different? Two, as you're speaking about some of the challenges that the immigrants communities in Minnesota are facing is on long distance learning, online learning. Yeah. So let's talk about the COVID.
Okay.
As a teacher yourself.
Okay.
What are the challenges you see, and what do you hear from parents? Especially parents, if you have connected to parents who are immigrants, refugees, and the learning process of COVID right now.
Absolutely. So I do work with the school I work at. It's a charter school, and it's 100% Somali students. And some of the students came from refugee camps. Some of the students were born here. Some of the students, so students are from all parts of, they have all different backgrounds, but they are Somali. They have that in common. And with COVID, first of all, it's been, miserable in a way. My school is doing a great job of reaching out to all the students and all of that. But as a teacher, it's like there's a cloud above you, a dark cloud. It's very scary times, especially with me being pregnant. It's very scary. And our safety comes first. So we did go with a distant learning route, because some schools did go back, but we're keeping it online. And
what are the challenges now for you and for the parents and for the kids, especially when you have parents that don't speak English, have never had prior education, they cannot tutor their kids.
Yes.
So what do you get?
So with I do get a little bit of that. A lot of the students that I work with, I teach 6th grade, they have older siblings that could help them, or if not, they reach out to me, and I honestly answer my Zoom calls later than when I'm like after 3 p.m. That's when I'm done, but I still take calls when need be, because it's different times. So I have to also step it up as a teacher and help in any way as I can. Some challenges I would be some students who there are some students who need to be in school. It's better for them when they're in person.
It's true.
Because they were struggling when they were there in person.
Right.
Imagine when it's online. You kind of lose them in a way.
It's even tougher, yes.
So and easily they could just like turn off their screen and mute themselves, and it's like you can't reach out to them.
I have a 7-year-old.
Yeah.
So they have a hybrid. So he goes 2 days to school, the other days is online.
Okay.
And it's every day. It's like, okay, focus. You know.
It's hard.
Teachers.
Yeah.
We cannot thank you enough. I know you guys are doing a lot of dangerous stuff.
We're trying.
You're putting your life on the line. We thank you. We really appreciate
Of
what you
course,
guys are doing.
of course.
Because we know as parents, what. I mean, we didn't know until COVID. Then we know how hard it is to teach a student. I was a student myself, so I know. Trust me.
Of course. The positive side is, I feel like the way our world is headed, especially in America, at least I feel like we're headed towards a technology world, for lack of better terms.
Yes.
So it's preparing students and preparing children for what the future holds, because a lot of the jobs and everything, there's going to be more tech involved, so that's good. But at the same time, you're right, I'm getting calls from parents saying, well, I don't know, what am I supposed to do with this? I'm trying, but at the same time, this is foreign to us. And what can you really do? You just got to work with that student and be like, okay, I'll work with your student as much as I can. I'll work with your child. And that's all I really do, is I work with the child, and they're better at it than me, actually. Children are better at anything tech related than I am.
You are very much out involved in the communities. Can you
I love my community. Yes, I really love my community, and with a strong focus on the youth and children. My husband and I both I think one thing we have in common, and sometimes I'm like, the reason why we got married, I'm just kidding, but like something that we really have in common is we care about the youth, our Somali people.
I spoke to him. So
yeah.
That came across a lot.
Yeah, our Somali people and children, because they are our future. They're the ones who's going to look after us when we're older. They're going to be our doctors, our nurses, our teachers, our janitors, our engineers, all of that, So we got to invest in children now before it's too late and we're older and we're like, we failed our younger generation.
There is a crisis of opioid crisis that is ongoing.
Oh my gosh.
Well, what's your view on that, and what can be done to help?
Sad. It's really, really sad. Honestly, growing up in I grew up in a little area where that was also a thing. Well, back in the day, it was more like weed and other stuff like that. Yes. Now I feel like it's getting worse, where children are dying. So honestly, what I would say is, parents, as much as you can, I know everyone's busy, but talk to your children. Put them in mentorship programs. Maybe just be like, hey, what's bothering you? How's school? What's this? And I know teenagers can be hard to deal with, and maybe they don't want to share. Yes. I've been there. I don't have a teenager, but I've been a teenager. But I was an angel. But but I will say, honestly, it's about trying to find somebody. If they can't talk to you, find somebody they can talk to.
Somebody they can trust, that they can talk to.
Yeah, and pay attention. Pay attention to little things, details.
You mean the parents focus and pay attention to the kids? Yeah,
even when they don't feel like sharing now. Sometimes I wouldn't feel like sharing anything. Like, I'm protecting my mom in a way from not sharing things, So instead of doing that, maybe just like, I don't know. Maybe I should get back to you when I'm a teenager.
Right.
When I have a teenager,
Right.
maybe.
No. That's you. Everybody have said that. I think you have said two things that are very important. You said one is that the kid, share. Don't be afraid of your parents. And then also the parents focus on your kid and see what they're doing every day.
Yeah.
At least be aware of where they are, where they go, who they hang out with, what they do. I think those are very important.
And one more on top of that, I know that. Just from my experience, when a child does come to you about something and they do eventually share, don't be in attack mode as a parent. Like kind of keep calm, think about solutions, because they're already scared if they're coming to you saying, maybe I have an opioid problem. Don't be like, oh my God, you've lost your culture, you've lost your deen. What are you doing?
It's another sihr.
It's another sihr. We gotta leave the country now.
Yes.
But instead, they came to you for a reason. It took a lot to come to you. So be calm and at the same time find solutions. Also get help. There's a lot of help out here.
And you made a good point, because there's a lot of kids that I've been to a lot of events where the kids have really, admitted they have a problem. Mm-hmm. And they went to their parents and walked to their community and friends, and they come out and said, I've been there. I know that hole, and you can get out, So if you're out there, man, and you're struggling, there is help. There's a lot of people love you. There's community. Yeah. There's parents. Yeah. There's support network that's available that can help you get out of that. So
you're put on this earth for a reason, and you're gonna do amazing things. So don't let this challenge stop you, and don't give up and say there's no hope for me. There's always hope. Always hope.
We've seen people come out of it and become very successful.
Trust me, I've seen people come out of this very successful now. Yeah.
That was Mariam Mohamed. And what can you say? I mean, it's impressive, right? Like, this is our Minnesota experience as a community. This is what we do. Mm-hmm. This is how we are part of a bigger community, and we're doing our parts.
Yeah.
Being teachers, writing books, inspiring others, and reaching for the stars. That's really amazing. That was Mariam Mohamed joining me today.
No, I just want to thank you for this opportunity. This is really neat, and I haven't had an experience like this. So this is cool.
I appreciate it. Go check out. I'm gonna share the Amazon for the 2 books that she's written. Support. Please go out, buy the book. I mean, not only that, use that book to teach others about her experience that she's put down in writing. This is a teachable moment for all of us. I really want to thank you for coming.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Yes, thank you. And please, let's invest in our youth as much as we can.
Invest in our youth. You heard that right.
As much as we can.
You got that
right.
Thank you for joining me today. Thank you for watching Minnesota Wired. Let's ride. Today's program is sponsored by Hami Express. Do you want to send money to Africa? You can do so with Hami Express. Hami Express is an online transfer service that sends money securely with few clicks for family and friends abroad. It is supported by App Store and Android phone. Download Hami Express to send money securely.